Well, hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of One-on-One Coaching. This is episode 5. So, in the last few episodes, we have been talking about step 2 of my 5-step to go from success to significance. And we touch on purpose, we touch on dreams, and in this one, step 2.3, uh, courageously discover your light comes values. So I think of values as something that a lot of people talk about and something that many people would say they have, but they're not really aware of what they are, or they haven't really sat down to clearly identify them or explicitly write them out so they can start making decisions in life based on those values, or at least they can start connecting with the right individuals. When I think of courageously discovering yourself and values, this is a process of elimination. It's a process where you're going to have to make a decision to filter. One way to think about this is to start thinking about what is not negotiable in your life. There are many exercises that I have in the program. One of them I heard from Stephen Covey, I believe, and he talks about the I-beam exercise. And the I-beam exercise is picturing yourself that you're crossing an I-beam from one side to the other, and this I-beam is about 3 or 4 inches of the ground. And you're asked, for what reasons would you cross one side, like from the left to right or right to left? For what reasons would you cross the I-beam for? Or you can simply ask yourself, okay, if I'm going to give you $50,000 to cross the I-beam from one side to the other. Now, as that's easy, most people would actually say they will do it. But now, if you were to picture yourself in terms of being in the Grand Canyon and the I-beam is 1,000 feet up off the ground, it sounds kind of high, but just picture it as being very high. If you fall from the I-beam, you're going to die. So now I ask you, would you cross the I-beam from one side to the other for $50,000? You might say yes, you might say no, but then I can say, would you do it for 100,000 or for 1,000,000? And I will start creating this scenario or making this scenario harder. So what if it's raining? What if it's very windy? What if it's cold and the I-beam has ice on it? For what would you cross the I-beam for? That's one exercise that you can start using to identify what is it that's not negotiable? What is it that you would do anything and everything to maintain integrity with how you operate and how you act? It doesn't have to be a single word or a group of words. It could be statements. It could be sentences. It could be scenarios. It could be images. It doesn't really matter what you choose. What matters is that you understand very well what you value. And for me, I value honesty. I value courage. I value simplicity, family, and I believe learning is the other one, or wisdom is the fifth one. And what I've noticed is that if I meet people that are missing any of these values, or they don't show any signs that they have honesty, they value family, they value simplicity, they value wisdom and courage, I start feeling disconnected from them. I start judging them maybe in a negative way. And the same thing happens the other way around. This is not as a way to say that I judge people based on my values, but I definitely pay attention to it. Because if someone asks me to work on something, and let's say I come up with a result that we're gonna make 10% in profit the next year, and somebody asks me, well, what if you were to tweak this thing and make it look like we're gonna make 12% or 15%, while the amount might not be too different or significant, I personally feel like we're making stuff up. And this happens a lot when you're talking about strategy and budgets in business, where they start finding ways to make more money, air quotes, and report things or at least project better results or more positive results. It could be real, it could be fake, it doesn't really matter. But to me, that goes against my honesty value. So I pay attention to these things. So regardless of how you do how you do it or how you identify what is non-negotiable in your life, you definitely want to pay attention to it because you want to start looking for people that value similar things or value things that are in alignment with what you value, but think different thoughts. That's a way you reach diversity. That's a way where it'll be easier for you to relate to these people and support them in whatever journey you're gonna go with them or not. The other thing about values is that if you really pay attention to it, everything you're doing is made distinct by what you value. The way you interact with some people, you and I can do the same action or perform the same project, but we're probably going to do it with a very distinct essence, especially if we value different things. You might have a whole different perspective because you might value fun or you might value eating or entertainment. Something like that would change the way you would do something. Uh, and similarly, other people are going to interpret whatever you do based on what they value. So as you go around life trying to figure out what makes you different, consider the fact that your values are going to make everything you do different. And it should make it easier for you to decide what to do, how to do it, who to work with if you are aware of what you value. Now, if you combine values with purpose and dreams, now you start actually framing the structure by which you can start operating. Your purpose is going to be the fuel, it's going to be the driver for do everything that you do. Your dreams are kind of like stipulating your goals and your path to follow, and your values, it's kind of like the way you would approach and behave as you go through the things. And the next video and audio, I'm going to start talking about skills and talents, which will be the last step or phase of step 2. And those will be your toolkits, but I'll touch on that on the next ones. For now, think about what you value. Try to do the IBM exercise or try to go Google values exercises, and most of them will have certain words, and just pick the ones that really, really get you excited, and you start identifying what are some of the things that you value. So that's it for now. Have a good one. See you on the next one.